Hello guys. Okay, so this is the next video, summarize written text. Let's understand the task first. It has we are given a passage and we need to summarize it into one sentence between 5 and 75 words in 10 minutes. That's the task. This is the scoring from the PTE official guide. Uh, you can go through it, but I will explain what all we need from the score guide to achieve maximum score. But before starting, right, let's there are some things which we need to know to score maximum in summarized written text. So every paragraph that is given, it has one idea, and every idea is of the paragraph is in the topic sentence. So every paragraph has only one idea, and it is in the topic sentence, and the topic sentence in the first or second sentences of the paragraph. Just make sure you understand this. If you following or if you follow using this thought, it will be easy to solve summarized written text. Very important. The second thing you need to know is even after you summarize something very correctly, if you don't use synonyms, you will not get good marks in vocabulary, and that will probably not get you a 79 plus. So better may it is a must to use synonyms. Okay, and to eliminate issues, right? Generally, what happens is we all write a lot of commas in the sentence and trying to create it a hi-fi kind of statement, but we end up writing it wrongly and it all messes up the grammar. So there is absolutely no need to write semicolon, comma, and all that kind of things in the summarized written text. That one single statement. Better to keep it simple and maybe not even have any commas. Okay, so we'll keep it simple. Uh, yeah, that's all is the background that you need to know. And then how to maximize our scores. The score is given if you figure out the main idea and all supporting points. So that's one thing that we need to do. And what happens is once you figure out supporting points, let's say you come up with five supporting points, most likely all those five supporting points will be repetitive. So actually they are not five supporting points. Maybe there will be only two or 3 points, but the text is written in such a way that you will feel there are more than three. And if you try to write 5 points, then obviously the length of the sentence becomes longer, and we start using commas and it all messes up. So we need to eliminate duplicates and also ignore details. There are some detail level of information given. We don't need the detailed level of information, and even the supporting points we have to eliminate. Okay. So like I said earlier, no need to use commas because commas are only used to increase the length, sentence length, and we don't want longer sentences. Let us write under 40 is good, and if you can write less than 30, it's actually great. Okay. Okay, so we know that we have to summarize only in one sentence. I have a strategy of following 7 steps to get a very good single sentence, which I'll explain in the next slide. And we need to remember that any unnecessary words in the final sentence we need to remove. We need to make sure we write correct spellings, grammar, and include synonyms. The commas, while we try to avoid commas, but there will be some situations where you have to write commas. We cannot avoid commas there. Like I'll show you it in the example. Okay. Okay. So these are the 7 steps. Out of the 10 minutes, we'll split the task into three: read, write, and review. Reading can be done for 5 minutes, writing 3 minutes, and reviewing 2 minutes. So let's talk about reading in the first 5 minutes first. So when you read the passage, don't just blindly read it as fast as you can and try to read it multiple times, because the more number of times you read the passage, the more time you will waste here. So better to read it slowly at your regular pace, and while reading, make sure you really understand everything. Okay, so while you're reading in the first 5 minutes, our target is to figure out the main idea of the entire text, not only the first paragraph, main idea of the entire text, and also figure out all the supporting points. So since main ideas and all the supporting points can be in the first or second sentences of each of the paragraphs, look mainly there and figure these things out. Once you read the passage, once you figure out your supporting points, try to understand, ask yourself what is the story here, what is the passage trying to say, or what is the message that is being conveyed in the passage. You just ask all these things to yourself: what is happening, who is doing what, when did it happen, why is it happening, or where is it happening, and how things are changing in the paragraph, which things are related, things like that. Okay, if you ask these questions, you will obviously understand the main idea of the passage, and you will have some sort of supporting points figured out if you keep doing this activity. And once you have the understanding, the next thing that we need to understand is which connectors we will use to form our sentence. I'll show you some connectors. uh, so, so that is what we need to do in the first 5 minutes. So once we are there, the next 3 minutes we need to write a sentence which is 30 to 40 words long. 30 words is more than enough. So we allocate 3 minutes here. 30 words, it's like writing 10 words in 1 minute, which is absolutely easy. So make sure you do it correctly. Okay, and after that 8 minutes are done, you've written your sentence. Just you have 2 minutes. Use these 2 minutes to review the entire thing again, just in case if you need to change something. Otherwise, just make sure your spelling is correct, you have used correct grammar, and try to put in some synonyms if not already done. Okay, that's the strategy. So these are some of the linkers that I put in here. There are more, you can google them out, but generally we will need only these in most of the cases. And my suggestion is, so summarize written text, right? There are 2 to 3 questions that come in the exam, and my suggestion is, if possible, only use these three connectors, in spite of or despite, although, even though, not only but also. If possible, use these three, because these three are different writing styles which not everybody uses. Okay, and it is good to have in our writing space, because we have used in our essay, right? If you see my earlier videos, in the essay I've told you how to use while some, like others, dislike kind of a statement, and whether or not somebody likes something. So do whether or not and while some others, those two statements were used in the essay. We will use these three styles of writing in summarized written text if possible. Okay, otherwise you can use any of the others. And another important point here is the supporting points and the main points. So whatever is main point, right, the supporting points will either support the main point or contradict the main point, or some supporting points will contradict and some supporting points will support. So based on what is happening with the supporting points, you can decide on which connector you want to use. Okay, that's what it is. If the ideas are opposite, we can use these. If the we have to give reasoning or support, then you can use because, due to, things like these. And obviously and, which, who, whose, all these things, right? These are important. The ones which are bolded out here, they are important. Okay, so now let's do one simple example from the PTE site, this same paragraph which was shown earlier. Okay, so just take some time and read this paragraph. Like, I'll give you, let's do it in 1 minute. Can you read it in 1 minute? Excuse me. Okay, uh, if you want to read, you can pause and read it, but I'm just going ahead. I will read it for you. Okay. Just in time is a method of manufacturing products which aims to minimize production time, production cost, and the amount of stock held in the factory. Raw materials and supplies arrive at the factory as they are required, and consequently, there is very little stock sitting idle at any one point, any one time. Each stage of the production process finishes just before the next stage is due to commence, and therefore the lead time is significantly reduced. With a just in time production system, the level of production is related to the demand for the output rather than simply producing finished goods and waiting for order. This means that the raw material and stock only need to be ordered from suppliers as required. So, this is a passage. So, what is our first step? Try to figure out the main idea. This is only one paragraph, and if you see here, right, the main idea is right there in the first statement. Okay, so I've just rewritten that thing. Just in time is a manufacturing method that reduces time, cost, and inventory. Okay, where will you write this thing? Either write it in the text box given, where we have to write our final answer, or write it in your notepad. Okay, I prefer writing it in the text box that is given. That worked for me. Okay, and what are the second steps? Figure out the supporting point. So I feel that there are five supporting points here. Like after the main idea, right? If you see the second line, raw materials and suppliers arrive at the factory as they are required. So raw materials and suppliers arrive as needed. Uh, Consequently, very little stock is sitting idle, right? Very little stock, and then each stage of the production process finishes just before the next stage is due to commence, and therefore lead time is significantly reduced. So this statement is talking about lead time is significantly reduced. Production is that okay, fourth one, yeah. While sorry, with the just-in-time production system, the level of production is related to the demand for the output. So level of production is related to demand for output, right? Production is related to demand. And then the last statement, right, which means that the raw materials and stocks are only needed to be ordered from supplier as needed. So order raw material from supplier as needed. So out of these given sentences, this is what I've figured out as the supporting points. So if you write all these in the first 5 minutes, then it will consume a lot of time. Don't write the supporting points. Write only the main idea. I repeat, only main idea you write in the text box that you have to where we have to write the actual answer. The supporting points, make some rough notes, or either see only the text and try to come up with the actual final points. Okay, so let's say we have 5, but if you really notice, point 1 and point 5 are correlated. They're talking about the same thing. Order raw material from suppliers when needed, or raw material and supplier arrive as needed. Arrival and ordering, because obviously when you order they arrive, but it's all talking about getting raw material, right? So we can eliminate one point here. Let's say we eliminate the first one and keep the fifth one, and this second point, right, little stock sitting idle, this point is already there in the main idea, right? Reduces inventory. Okay, lead time is significantly reduced, even this point is there, reduces time. So we don't need these 2 points. Production is directly related to demand. This is not there in the main point, and this is not there in the this point. Okay, so we keep these two supporting points, and we keep the main idea. So these are in your brain, or you've drafted or roughly written them down somewhere. This thing is in the text box that you have written, that where we submit the answer. Okay, so you figured out the main idea, you figured out the supporting points. Now with this information, can you come up with the connectors that we will need to write the final answer, right? So by this time we have also completed the step 3. We understood the entire thing. Step 4 is which connectors we will need. Okay, now I will show you a sample answer. So this is what I've written, right? Just in time manufacturing reduces overall production capital, time to market, and standby inventory, which not only makes production directly proportional to demand but also allows ordering of raw material as needed. Okay, so what did I do here? The first thing, the main point, right, came here. Just in time, this entire thing is the main idea, comma, which not only makes production directly relation, so first supporting point, but also second supporting point. Okay, so these two are pause supporting points helping the main idea. That's what we've summarized here. So there is another way you can write it. You can write the supporting points first and then write the main idea at the bottom like this. Just in time manufacturing makes production directly proportional to demand and allows, because we have used and here, right, and allows ordering of raw material as needed, which reduce overall production capital, time to market, and standby inventory. Okay, so these are the two answers that I've written, two different styles of writing. Both answers are correct, both answers have main idea and supporting points, both answers have some synonyms. Like if you see the synonyms here, uh, capital, okay, production capital, which is cost, right, uh, standby, proportional, right, related, I've used proportional here. So some synonyms and main idea and supporting point. So this is how we need to summarize. Okay, this example was easy, the passage was easy, and summarizing was easy. I've just given this example because just wanted to kickstart this summarize written text lecture. I will add some more complex examples and show you how we can use our 7 simple steps to write this or solve this type of questions. So once we've written the answer, now you have 2 minutes to review and close on this. If you see, I've used only one comma here, like which and here, right? These other commas, I cannot exclude them because they are three different parts of the method. I cannot exclude. That's where I was saying there will be some commas which you cannot eliminate. Use those, there is no other way out. But otherwise, I used only one comma, right? That's what I was stressing on. Try to reduce the number of commas, try to use this and or not only but also, and try to complete the statement there itself. Make sure you put a full stop, make sure you start with a capital letter. That's it. Okay, so what are the advantages of following this approach? So we know that the topic sentence has the main idea, that is the that itself eases out the uh, difficulty of finding main idea and supporting points. Then you take 5 minutes to read the text, understand, get the main idea and supporting points, eliminate duplicates, remove details. Very, very important. As many duplicates you will eliminate, those many less points will be there, and that's how you make a sentence shorter. The idea is to make the sentence short. Don't try to write a long sentence. The smaller the sentence, the less grammatical mistakes. Just assume it, understand it that way. And in the first 5 minutes, right, we have enough information. We have read it multiple couple of times. We understood what is there. We understand the story. So you have information. Just figure out which connectors you want to use, and that's it. Write it, review it. Write. Make sure you write the synonyms. This will get you high score. That's it. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will add some more examples. Meanwhile, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, that's all. Have a good day.